In today's world, life moves at an unrelenting pace. Every day we wake up to a storm of distractions, constant notifications, unending obligations, the weight of expectations, and the noise of opinions that fill our minds before we've even taken our first breath of the morning. We rush through the day, feeling drained without ever understanding why. We wonder why peace remains elusive, why anxiety clings to us, why exhaustion lingers even when we rest. But the truth is, our energy is not simply depleted by work or responsibilities. It is stolen by unseen forces, habits so deeply ingrained in our lives that we fail to recognize them as the thieves they are. We give our energy away without realizing it. We hold on to things that no longer serve us. We allow external influences to dictate our emotions, unaware that every moment spent in worry, in validation seeking, in unnecessary conflict is a moment lost. The Buddha once said, "Just as a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, so the wise remain unmoved by praise or blame." This is the essence of true peace, detachment from the ever-changing tides of external validation and criticism. Real tranquility is not found in controlling the world around us, but in mastering ourselves. So why do we struggle? Why do we feel so drained? The answer lies in 5 common habits that slowly, silently steal our energy. These habits are so subtle that we barely notice them, yet they shape our lives, our thoughts, and our sense of inner peace. But once we recognize them, once we begin to change them, we take back control. We reclaim our energy, our clarity, and our ability to live with intention. The first silent thief of energy is the habit of oversharing. In the age of social media, where every thought, every experience, every struggle can be shared with the world in an instant, we have come to believe that connection comes from exposure. We feel the need to share our personal stories, our emotions, our goals, not just with those we trust, but with colleagues, acquaintances, and even strangers. But in giving too much of ourselves away, we leave parts of our soul exposed to judgment. Not everyone who listens has our best interests at heart. Some will support us, but others may criticize, misunderstand, or use our words against us. And every time we share something deeply personal, we open the door to external validation, a force that, once invited in, is difficult to let go of. Buddhism teaches the power of right speech, a principle that reminds us to speak with wisdom, with intention, and only when necessary. The Buddha warned against careless words, for they not only shape the world around us, but also shape our own minds. He taught that the wise speak less and listen more, understanding that silence is not emptiness, but a form of protection. Before sharing your thoughts, pause. Ask yourself, is this truly necessary for others to know? Will sharing this bring peace, or will it invite unnecessary turmoil? Am I speaking from wisdom, or am I seeking approval? The strongest among us do not need to announce their journey. They allow their actions to speak for them. There is strength in mystery, in privacy, in choosing silence over excessive disclosure. Trust should be earned, and not everyone deserves access to your deepest thoughts and experiences. Protect your energy. Speak with purpose, and let your presence, rather than your words, define who you are. Another unseen drain on our energy is the habit of absorbing negativity. As human beings, we are naturally empathetic. We feel the weight of others' emotions, the sadness of a friend, the anger of a coworker, the collective anxiety of the world around us. And while compassion is a beautiful quality, there is a difference between understanding someone's pain and carrying it as if it were our own. The Buddha spoke of detachment, not as a way to become indifferent, but as a way to help others without losing ourselves. He often used the example of the lotus flower, which rises above muddy waters, untouched by the dirt below. Just as the lotus remains pure despite its surroundings, we too must learn to be present for others without allowing their suffering to consume us. When faced with negativity, pause and ask yourself, is this my burden to carry, or am I simply witnessing another's suffering? Can I offer support without allowing this energy to consume me? How can I stay centered while still being compassionate? A powerful practice is to visualize yourself surrounded by a shield of light, one that allows love and understanding to flow outward, but prevents external negativity from seeping in. Instead of internalizing the pain of others, practice mindful listening. Be present, offer kindness, but do not make their suffering your own. True compassion is not about sacrificing your own peace. It is about uplifting others while remaining strong yourself. The best way to help others is to remain steady, grounded, and at peace. The past, for many, is an invisible weight. We carry old wounds, reliving past betrayals, disappointments, and failures, as if holding on to them will somehow protect us from future harm. We believe that if we let go, we are dishonoring our experiences. But in reality, clinging to pain does not protect us. It only ensures that we continue to suffer. The Buddha compared this habit to holding a burning coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. In the end, it is we who get burned. Clinging to the past is like trying to hold on to water. It slips through our fingers, yet we continue to grasp at it, refusing to accept that it is already gone. The truth is, we cannot change what has already happened, but we can choose how much power we give to those memories. To begin releasing the weight of the past, ask yourself, does holding on to this bring me peace, or does it only prolong my suffering? What would happen if I chose to let this go? Who would I be if I no longer carried this burden? Forgiveness does not mean excusing what happened. It does not mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from the prison of resentment. Because when you hold on to anger, when you replay past mistakes, when you cling to regret, you are the one who suffers, not the person who caused you pain. Breathe deeply. Imagine releasing the weight that no longer serves you. See your past pain dissolving like mist in the morning sun, because every moment is an opportunity to begin again. And this is only the beginning. There are more unseen forces that drain us. Habits so subtle yet so powerful that they shape the way we experience life itself. But the moment you recognize them, you regain control. You reclaim your energy. You take back the peace that has always been yours. And so, the journey toward true self-awareness continues. One of the greatest burdens we unknowingly place upon ourselves is the inability to say no. We have been conditioned to believe that saying yes is an act of kindness, that agreeing to every request makes us good friends, dedicated colleagues, or loving family members. We are taught that self-sacrifice is noble, that to refuse is to disappoint, that to set boundaries is selfish. But this belief is a silent thief of energy. The more we stretch ourselves thin to meet the expectations of others, the less we have left for ourselves. We become exhausted, overcommitted, and detached from our own needs. We find ourselves agreeing to things that drain us, engaging in tasks that bring no fulfillment, and prioritizing the happiness of others at the cost of our own peace. The Buddha taught the importance of balance, the middle path. Neither indulgence nor extreme self-sacrifice leads to true contentment. Saying yes to everything does not make you kind. It makes you depleted. True generosity is not in giving everything until you are empty. It is in giving mindfully, with intention. Before agreeing to a request, pause and ask yourself, am I saying yes out of fear of disappointing others, or because I truly want to? Will this nourish me, or will it drain me? If I say no, will my world fall apart, Or am I simply afraid of setting a boundary? There is nothing selfish about protecting your energy. When you learn to say no, you free yourself from unnecessary obligations, creating space for what truly matters. You stop living out of obligation and start living out of intention. And in doing so, you realize that the world does not crumble when you set limits. People may be momentarily surprised. They may resist, but those who respect you will understand. Those who do not were never meant to stay. When you stop saying yes to everything, you begin saying yes to yourself. Perhaps the most subtle, yet most damaging drain on our energy is the endless pursuit of external validation. We shape our words, our actions, and even our dreams around how we believe others will perceive us. We seek approval, fearing rejection, molding ourselves to fit expectations that were never truly ours to begin with. But the Buddha warned against this, teaching that praise and blame are impermanent and unreliable. If our sense of peace depends on the opinions of others, we will always be at their mercy. One day we may be admired, the next we may be criticized. The more we chase approval, the more we become prisoners of the world around us. Chasing validation is like grasping at the wind, impossible to hold, forever shifting. True confidence, true fulfillment, does not come from pleasing others. It comes from alignment with one's own truth. It comes from walking a path that feels right, regardless of who is watching. It comes from knowing that self-worth is not something to be given. It is something to be realized. Before seeking external approval, ask yourself, am I living for my own truth, or am I shaping myself to be accepted by others? Do I need recognition to feel worthy? If no one were watching, would I still choose this path? Not everyone will understand your journey, and that is okay. When you let go of the need to be liked by everyone, you gain something far greater: inner peace, self-respect, and the strength to move through life without the weight of others' expectations. And this is where true liberation begins. For too long, we have allowed unseen forces to drain our energy. We have lived as though we owe the world every part of ourselves. But the moment we recognize these habits, the moment we begin to change them, we take back our power. We reclaim our energy. We remember that peace is not something found, it is something cultivated. And so, the path forward is clear. Let go of what weighs you down. Speak with intention, set boundaries with confidence, and trust in your own journey, because the greatest source of peace is not found in the world. It is already within you. You need only to embrace it. The path to inner peace is not found in doing more, but in letting go. In a world that constantly demands more of us, more work, more effort, more validation, it is easy to believe that peace is something we must chase, that happiness is something we must earn, that if we do enough, if we please enough, if we accomplish enough, we will finally feel whole. But the truth is, inner peace is not something to be attained. It is something to be uncovered. It is already within us, buried beneath layers of unnecessary burdens. It is hidden beneath the habits that drain us, the thoughts that imprison us, and the attachments that keep us stuck in cycles of suffering. And perhaps the most insidious attachment of all is the one we have to the past. The past is powerful. It holds our memories, our lessons, our stories. But for many, it also holds pain. Moments of regret, words left unsaid, betrayals that still sting, failures that replay in the quiet hours of the night. We believe that by holding on to these moments, we are protecting ourselves. That if we do not forget, we will not be hurt again. That if we carry our past wounds, we will be stronger, wiser, more prepared for the future. But the Buddha compared this habit to holding on to a burning coal, believing that it will harm someone else. In reality, it is we who are burned. The past is not meant to be a prison. It is meant to be a teacher. The pain you once experienced was never meant to be carried indefinitely. It was meant to guide you, to transform you, and then to be released. And so, ask yourself, does holding on to this bring me peace, or does it only prolong my suffering? What would happen if I chose to let this go? Who would I be if I no longer carried this burden? Forgiveness is not for the person who wronged you. It is for yourself. It is a decision to free yourself from the chains of resentment, to stop reliving pain that no longer exists. It does not mean forgetting. It does not mean excusing. It simply means choosing not to let the past dictate your present. Breathe deeply. Imagine the weight of your past pain dissolving, like mist in the morning sun. Feel the lightness that comes when you no longer hold on to something that was never meant to stay, because every moment is an opportunity to begin again. But letting go is not just about releasing the past. It is also about reclaiming the present. And one of the greatest ways we lose the present moment is through the endless search for approval. So many live their lives in service of others' expectations. They shape their words, their actions, even their dreams, based on how they believe they will be perceived. They fear judgment, they seek praise, they chase validation as if it were the key to happiness. But the Buddha taught that external praise and blame are fleeting. If your peace depends on the opinions of others, you will never be free. One day you may be admired, the next you may be criticized. To base your self-worth on the ever-changing tide of approval is to give away control over your own happiness. Seeking validation is like chasing the horizon. You will never reach it. True confidence comes not from being liked, but from being aligned with your own truth. It comes from living in a way that feels right, not because others approve, but because it is authentic to who you are. And so, ask yourself, am I living for my own truth or for someone else's approval? Do I need recognition to feel worthy? If no one were watching, would I still choose this path? Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will approve of your choices, and that is okay. Because when you stop chasing approval, you gain something far greater: inner peace, self-respect, and the freedom to walk your own path without fear. And this is where true strength begins. The world will always have opinions. There will always be noise, but the only voice that truly matters is the one within you. So release the past. Let go of the need for validation. Protect your energy. Speak with intention and trust in your own journey. Because the greatest peace does not come from controlling the world. It comes from mastering yourself. Here is the fourth part of the rewritten script, maintaining the engaging storytelling tone. True peace is not something the world can give you, nor is it something the world can take away. It is not found in external achievements, nor in the approval of others. It is something that must be cultivated within, through wisdom, through discipline, through letting go of what no longer serves you. But too often, we allow our energy to be drained by things that do not deserve our attention. We say yes when we want to say no. We hold on to past wounds as if they define us. We exhaust ourselves trying to meet expectations that were never our own. And perhaps one of the greatest drains on our energy is the fear of disappointing others. Many of us have been taught that saying yes is a virtue, that to be kind, to be good, to be loved, we must be available. That to refuse is to be selfish. And so, we become people pleasers, stretching ourselves thin, placing the needs of others above our own. We take on responsibilities we do not want. We engage in conversations that drain us. We say yes to invitations, to favors, to commitments, not because we want to, but because we are afraid of what will happen if we say no. But at what cost? Each time you agree to something that does not align with your values, each time you suppress your own needs to accommodate someone else, you are giving away a piece of your energy. And the more you give away without intention, the less of yourself you have left. The Buddha spoke of the middle path. A life of balance, neither selfish indulgence nor self-sacrifice. True kindness does not come from exhausting yourself to meet the expectations of others. It comes from giving mindfully, from setting boundaries that protect your well-being. Before saying yes, pause. Ask yourself, am I agreeing because I truly want to, or because I feel obligated? Will this nourish me, or will it deplete me? If I say no, will my world fall apart, or am I simply afraid of setting a boundary? When you learn to say no, you reclaim your time. You create space for what truly matters. You stop living for the approval of others and start living in alignment with yourself. And in doing so, you realize a powerful truth. The world does not fall apart when you set boundaries. The right people will respect them. The wrong ones will leave, and either way, you will be free. But protecting your energy is not just about setting boundaries with others. It is also about setting boundaries with your own mind. Because the greatest prison is the one we build for ourselves, and nowhere is this more evident than in the habit of overthinking. How many hours have been lost to worry? How many nights have been spent replaying conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios, fearing things that never even happened? The mind is a powerful tool, but when left unchecked, it becomes our greatest source of suffering. It clings to the past. It fears the future. It creates problems that do not exist. And without realizing it, we become trapped, living not in the present, but in the endless cycle of our own thoughts. The Buddha taught that the mind, when untamed, is like a wild elephant, destructive, uncontrollable, capable of great harm. But when trained, when disciplined, it becomes our greatest ally. It becomes a force of clarity, of wisdom, of peace. And so, ask yourself, are my thoughts serving me, or are they consuming me? Am I focusing on what I can control, or am I lost in what I cannot change? Is this worry real, or is it just my mind creating fear? The answer is always the same. The past is gone. The future has not arrived. The only thing that truly exists is this moment, right now. And the more you learn to let go of unnecessary thoughts, the more energy you free up for the things that truly matter. The weight you carry is not always physical. Sometimes it is the burdens of the mind, the attachments, the worries, the self-doubt. But the moment you begin to release them, you feel something incredible. You feel light. You feel free. And in that freedom, you discover the peace that has always been waiting for you. Peace is not found in doing more. It is found in letting go. It is found in the spaces we create when we stop holding on to things that drain us, when we release the habits that keep us stuck in cycles of exhaustion, anxiety, and self-doubt. We have spoken of the weight of the past, the burden of external validation, and the silent exhaustion of always saying yes. But there is another habit, equally destructive, that drains more energy than we realize. The habit of absorbing negativity. As human beings, we are deeply connected to the world around us. We feel the emotions of others. We sense the unspoken tensions in a room. We absorb the collective fears, anxieties, and frustrations of those we interact with. And while compassion is a gift, it becomes a burden when we carry emotions that do not belong to us. How often have you left a conversation feeling inexplicably drained? How often have you taken on the sadness, the anger, the frustration of another, allowing their suffering to become your own? The Buddha taught detachment, not as a way of shutting out the world, but as a way of remaining present without losing oneself. He spoke of the lotus flower, which rises from the muddy waters yet remains unstained. Just as the lotus does not absorb the dirt around it, we too must learn to remain untouched by the negativity that surrounds us. When you find yourself absorbing emotions that are not yours, pause and ask yourself, is this my burden to carry? Am I helping this person by feeling their pain, or am I only adding to my own suffering? How can I be compassionate without losing my own peace? The answer lies in emotional boundaries. You can be kind without being consumed. You can support others without sacrificing yourself. You can listen without letting their struggles become your own. One of the simplest ways to protect your energy is to visualize a shield of light around you. A barrier that allows love and understanding to flow out, but prevents external negativity from seeping in. And most importantly, remind yourself that true compassion does not mean carrying another's pain. It means being present, offering support, and then letting go. Because when you detach with wisdom, you do not lose your heart. You protect it. You create space for peace, for clarity, for the strength to help others without losing yourself in the process. And in doing so, you reclaim your energy, you reclaim your life. But perhaps the most profound energy drain of all is the one we rarely acknowledge, the need for control. How much of our exhaustion comes from trying to force life to go our way? How much of our stress is rooted in the belief that if we just try harder, plan better, worry more, we can make everything turn out exactly as we want? But control is an illusion. No matter how much we prepare, life will always be unpredictable. No matter how much we worry, the future will remain unknown. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment, especially the attachment to control. We suffer not because life is uncertain, but because we resist that uncertainty. But when we let go of the need to control everything, something amazing happens. We find freedom. We realize that peace does not come from forcing life to fit our expectations, but from surrendering to what is, from trusting the flow of existence, from understanding that no amount of worry will change the outcome of what is meant to be. So ask yourself, what am I trying to control that is beyond my power? What would happen if I simply let go and trusted the process? How much peace could I reclaim if I stopped resisting the natural flow of life? Breathe deeply. Feel the weight of control slipping away. And in that release, feel the lightness of surrender. Because life will always unfold as it is meant to. And your energy is far too precious to waste on fighting what is already written. The greatest peace is found not in control, not in external validation, not in the exhaustion of doing more, but in the surrender to what is. The moment we stop chasing, the moment we stop resisting, the moment we simply allow life to unfold, we step into a space of true freedom. For too long, we have given away our energy to things that do not serve us. We have allowed the past to weigh us down. We have absorbed the burdens of others. We have sought approval, stretched ourselves thin, and clung to the illusion of control. But now we awaken. We see clearly. We understand that energy is sacred, that peace is not found in the world, but within, that every moment, every choice, every habit either nourishes us or drains us. And so, we begin again. We protect our energy by choosing silence over unnecessary words, by learning that not everything needs to be shared, that some things are sacred, meant only for our own hearts. We protect our energy by detaching from negativity, not in apathy, but in wisdom. By understanding that compassion does not mean carrying the pain of others, but being present for them without losing ourselves. We protect our energy by releasing the past, not forgetting, but forgiving. By realizing that what has happened cannot be changed, but our relationship to it can. We protect our energy by setting boundaries, not in selfishness, but in self-respect. By saying no when we need to, by recognizing that our time, our peace, our presence is valuable. We protect our energy by letting go of control, not in weakness, but in trust. By accepting that life will never be predictable, but it will always unfold as it is meant to, and in doing so, we reclaim what was always ours. The Buddha once said, "You yourself, as much as anyone in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This is not just a teaching, it is a way of life. When you stop giving your energy to the things that drain you, you create space for the things that nourish you. You begin to live with intention, with clarity, with purpose, and most importantly, you find peace, not in the absence of struggle, but in the presence of wisdom. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that no longer serves me? What would happen if I chose to let go? How much lighter would I feel if I released what is not mine to carry? Breathe, let go, and step into the life that has been waiting for you all along. Because the greatest source of peace is not something to be found, it is something to be uncovered. It has been within you this entire time.